everyone. Come in. Oh, it's good to see you. You know, you're all on time. Look at the clock up there. How are you doing on learning to tell time? So, Thack, can you tell me, are you okay? Yeah, what time is it according to the clock? Spaghetti? No, I'm sorry. That's not a unit of time. That's okay. That's okay. Hey, we're all learning. We're all students here on Earth, aren't we? Well, some of us more than others. I was not talking about you. Okay, Taxarac, I don't want you sitting on the... You cannot sit there. You are going to have to sit over there. We had the discussion about slime. Now stay over there. You know what happens when you get too close to the window. Thack, I want you to sit there. Okay, Zerg, come up closer to the front. Come here. Well, until your third eye recovers from that gumball injury, I just want you to stay where you can see me a little better. Can you see me? How many fingers am I holding up? Stop saying spaghetti. That's not the answer to everything. How many fingers am I holding up? Collie dog. No, 4. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Just listen to what I'm saying. Did everyone do their homework? Splefix, did you do your homework? No? Zerg? Thack? Taxarac? Debbie? All right. Well, this class today, of course, we kind of have 2 things that I want to go over. One thing is kind of incidental, and then we have another thing that's the main topic. The thing that I wanted to talk about kind of incidentally is aromas. If you read chapter 13, you are aware that humans have different opinions about different aromas, different smells in their environment. Some smells are considered pretty universally unpleasant, and some are pretty universally pleasant. One of the aromas that is a very distinct aroma is the aroma of... Does anybody know what this is? This thing here? Okay, well, if you went over your pictures last night as part of your assignment, you would know what this is. What is it? No, speak up. Don't use that mouth. Pine cones fall out. What is this thing? Other mouth. I don't want to hear from that mouth. Thank you. Coffee maker. That's right. This is a coffee maker. Not to be confused. Okay, first we're talking about this part. But what is this part? Is this also a coffee maker? Coffee pot. That's right. How did you know that? Oh, you accidentally ate one once. I bet that was rough. Okay. It's very warm. One thing you want to know, when the coffee pot is here, nestled inside the coffee maker, and it's sitting on its little platform, you don't want to touch it because it's probably going to be very hot. Now, I know you do not have a sense of... You don't feel heat and cold extremes. Don't do it. You're just going to have to remember not to, because humans are going to notice that. And what is the one thing we're trying to do out there in the world? Be undetectable by being normal. That's right. So you have to learn how to be a normal human being, even though you're not human beings at all. It's tricky. I know it is very tricky. But if I went to your planet and I had to have 17 different mouths, it'd take a little adjustment for me too. But Zerg, I know we're going to your party right after class. I'm very excited. We're going to go to the park and learn about different things at the park, like the slide, the monkey bars, the seesaw. Well, it's not every day you turn 3,000. I thought it would be a very special celebration. Look, I'm all dressed up. Yeah, I'm wearing the frilly shirt that you made for me. I love it. Thank you. All right. So, can anyone tell me why it would be so important for one of your classes to be about coffee here on Earth? Because it rules the world? Well, in a way, it kind of does. And for a lot of people, it does. It's very important in some people's lives. Yeah. Have you had a lot of time to observe humans and listen to them talk? Yeah. They do sound funny. You're right. I mean, if I were to come here from another planet, I would probably think that we sound kind of funny too. We make lots of noises. Yes, we do. We do. we make lots of noises with our faces. Yeah. Well, it's not kind of unavoidable. I mean, we don't mean to have noisy faces. It's kind of a weird way to put it, but interesting at the same time. We're discussing coffee today because it is such an important part of the lives of humans. And if you are going to live amongst humans, you need to understand that. And there's some little mannerisms and other beliefs that kind of get tied into coffee that we're going to talk about. It's very important, and that's why we're talking about it today. Who in here has gotten to try coffee before? Debbie, you have? Yeah, what did you think of it? It turned you purple. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, it's a good thing? Okay, so then I guess you started drinking it more often, like your limbs fell off. That's quite a trade-off, I guess. Yeah, it's one thing for, okay, purple is good, but the limbs falling off, that's a bad thing. I don't ever know. That's why I have to ask. I go into this thing trying to be open-minded and trying to remember that the way you see things may not be the way we see them here. So how did you reattach the limbs? Flex tape. Really? Wow. You like flex tape? You had some for breakfast. Okay. Can we get back to the subject? You guys had another assignment too. You were supposed to bring in things that were not coffee or coffee related. Has everyone done that? No, just keep them there. Just keep them there. We're not ready for them yet. That's very good that you brought some things in though. All right. Coffee is an integral part of many humans' lives. And you will often hear them. That's why I asked if you ever hear people talk about, you listen to people talk, especially if you listen to humans in the mornings, you're going to hear them say stuff like, oh, don't even bother me until I've had my coffee. Coffee is life, or, I can't make it through the day. I haven't even had coffee yet. You'll hear that a lot. And they're very serious about that. They're very serious about it. Are all of you guys staying here in the United States, or are you going somewhere else? You going to Colombia? Like Colombia? Okay. Yeah. Well, you're all going to need to know about it. Awesome. So, one thing you need to know is that not all coffee makers look the same either. And yeah, this is a very basic little coffee maker here. And then we have the pot here, and it's made primarily of plastic, but it contains a little well in here that is full of water, and the coffee maker will heat the water and sploosh it over the basket in which the coffee grounds are contained, and then the water runs through the coffee grounds through the filter and drips out into the pot right there. And we're all going to get to have some today if you want to. Debbie, I don't know if you want to do it. Oh, you have more flex tape? Okay. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's totally voluntary. And then we're going to go to the party. Okay, great. So we have a few notes to go over, just some basics about coffee. So I'm going to need everybody to pay attention. All right, tax rack. No, put your tail down. Put it all the way down. On the floor. Stop licking it. Thank you. Okay. Is everyone listening? Splefix? Splefix? Sweetheart, you fell asleep. Wake up. All right, good. Why do you have pink dots all over you? Never mind. I'm sorry I asked. No, you don't have to explain. It's fine, really. It's fine. Please don't explain. Debbie, you might want to scoot over. Okay, yes, thank you. All right, can anyone tell me what coffee is? I know we've said the word 20,000 times so far this morning, but can anybody tell me what this stuff actually is? This dark liquid here. It's life. It's not literally life. That's just what you might hear a human say. Let me explain what coffee is, all right? I have my little flashcards, which you guys love. Coffee is a brewed drink prepared from roasted coffee beans. How exciting. It's brewed, but it doesn't always have to be hot. That's one of the weird things about humans and their coffee. Now, for years, it was very common for coffee to only be hot, but now you can get what's called iced coffee. It does sound kind of stupid, but believe it or not, there are humans who like it. Personally, I think it's just a way to reuse coffee that wasn't consumed while it was hot, but that's just my opinion. So, what are coffee beans? Does anybody know where coffee beans come from? Ooh, no, not litter boxes. No. Let me tell you. Coffee beans are seeds from berries from certain Coffea species. It's from a plant. So it does not come from litter boxes. No, raisins don't either, honey, or Tootsie Rolls. Where have you been getting your information? Okay, might want to watch. Stay off the cartoons. Okay, they're beans. They're not really beans. They're really seeds from berries, but they're called beans anyway. Now we're going to learn a little bit more about them. It's interesting stuff, and then we have lots of visuals to help really drive the lesson home. The genus Coffea is native to tropical Africa and Madagascar. It's another part of the world. It's not where we are now. It's you have to go farther west to get there. But that's where they started. But now you can certainly find coffee beans that are grown in other parts of the world. As a matter of fact, coffee plants are now cultivated in over 70 countries. So you can literally get coffee from all over the world. It doesn't all have to come from one certain place. And people who really love coffee might prefer coffee grown in a certain area or roasted a certain way. And some people are really picky about their coffee. You can't just offer them any old thing. You can't just pick up some certain kind and make some and then expect them to like it. There are people that are sometimes referred to as coffee snobs who will criticize virtually any cup of coffee they try and tell you that it's not as good as some other kind because of this and that. No, unfortunately, you cannot thump those people on the head. I know it's fun. I know you like the little coconut sound it makes when you thump people, but you really have to learn to rein that in. Yeah, we don't condone. You can't just randomly just thump people, even though you might want to. It's really not acceptable. Okay. Even if they start the coffee snob thing, maybe when they turn away, you can roll your eyes or something. But only 2 of them. But you can't thump them. Okay. Dried coffee seeds, referred to as beans, although they're not beans really, are roasted to varying degrees depending on the desired flavor. So if you roast them longer, it will taste different than if you roast them for a shorter time. Now this here is Cafe Bustelo. It is espresso ground coffee. This is a 10-ounce can, but this is just one kind of coffee. There are other kinds as well. You can even get coffee that's flavored. You can get Folgers Simply Gourmet, natural chocolate. Now this is flavored ground coffee with other natural flavors. Yeah, chocolate is another thing that people are very passionate about. Although if I had to pick, I'd probably say that people are a little bit more passionate about coffee, or you'll at least find more people who are passionate about it. Now, if you look at it, you see this is a nice hot container of coffee. You can even see the water beads up here from the steam that has risen up. And you can pop the lid like that. You see how dark that is? It's super dark. And it doesn't fit in there very well, does it? Alrighty. No, Thad, I don't need your help. Thank you. Put that away. You're always a little too eager to help me. Have you noticed that? I don't need that tentacle. What happened to your suction cups? Debbie, give his suction cups back. Oh, God. You see how dark this liquid is? Coffee is darkly colored, bitter, slightly acidic, and has a stimulating effect on humans, primarily due to its caffeine content. Now, there is a lot of caffeine in this particular pot of coffee here. Is there anyone here who is sensitive to caffeine? You are. Well, I never would have thought you would be sensitive to caffeine. Sensitive how? What does it make you do? You lapse into a coma. Maybe we better not give you any of this then. Yeah, well, I don't want you to miss your own birthday party. How long does the coma last? 3 centuries. You know, there have been times I wish I could sleep that long. Maybe you better not have any then. I don't want you to miss it. Has anyone else here tried caffeine? A caffeine product? Yeah, I know you'd had your coffee, but it was decaffeinated. Maybe if you had caffeinated coffee, it wouldn't be that bad. Well, you might not turn purple, but your limbs won't fall off. Also, I don't really need to state it, but coffee is one of the most popular drinks in the world. That's why I say that no matter where you travel on Earth, you are probably going to encounter coffee in some form or other. And that's why you need to be comfortable with it. You need to know how to drink it, how to make it. It may be important to be able to make coffee. Well, that's very simple. I can show you. Now, when you have a coffee maker like this, and a lot of them are kind of the same, usually there will be a place on the front that you open it like this. See how it opens up? And you will pour the water in here. There's an opening here. And a filter, you take one of these filters out of here, like this right here. It does kind of look like a hat. Yeah, and you will stick it down in here, add the coffee grounds, add the water, close it up, and turn it on. Make sure the pot is in there so the coffee has somewhere to go. Because if you don't, it's just going to spill out everywhere, and it's very unfortunate. That's how you do it with a basic coffee maker. But you do need to keep in mind that coffee can be prepared and presented in a variety of ways. It doesn't always have to be the same. And depending on where you are on Earth, it's probably going to be done differently. Here are just 3 examples. You can have espresso, French press, cafe latte. You can put different things in coffee. Different machines make coffee different ways, different strengths, different procedures. Yeah. And as I said earlier, coffee is usually served hot. Very, very hot. It's usually really hot. Although iced coffee is becoming, it's a popular alternative. It's becoming more popular. That was not my stomach. That was actually the coffee maker. It's having a fit. Maybe if we just shut it up. Huh? Sounds like your ex-wife. I had a spouse that sounded like that sometimes. We have a lot in common. We get to know each other. Yet you may not be from this world, but we do have a lot in common. Yeah. What, Debbie? Well, I reckon it'll get quiet in a minute. You want to thump it, you can't thump it. It won't help. Listen, and it goes quiet. It goes quiet. I killed the beast. Okay. I have more history about coffee. It's riveting stuff. earliest credible evidence of coffee drinking appears in modern day Yemen in southern Arabia in the middle of the 15th century in Sufi shrines. So it's been going on a long time. Not as long as you've been alive, but it's been going on. People have been drinking coffee for a very long time. So this is not just some passing fad that that you may have to deal with for a week or two, and then it kind of dies out. It's not like it's not like leg warmers or anything. It's you're going to have to deal with it the entire time you're here on Earth, more than likely. As long as there are humans, you're going to have this issue. As of 2016, Brazil was the leading grower of coffee beans, procuring 1/3 of the world's total. Producing 1/3 of the world's total. And that's really something, considering that's not even where it started, but it has really grown and become it's a huge crop in Brazil now. You have a sister named Brazil. Oh, that's cool. Where is she? How many light years is that? Like, I need to go out there and see them sometime. I've heard it's really nice. Yeah, they have how many? Four sons? That must be awesome. So I guess it never really gets dark. Oh, it does. What comes out? Oh, no, I'm not interested in that. Not tarantula sharks. I'm staying here. No, never mind. I wish your sister luck. The word coffee entered the English language in 1582 via the Dutch, and I'm not going to pronounce it right, coffee? I guess it's basically kind of the same, maybe not. Borrowed from the Ottoman Turkish kahve, or however that's pronounced. Borrowed in turn from the Arabic kawa. Kawa, which is funny because when my younger son was little, that's how he actually pronounced the word coffee. Kawa. Maybe he was smarter than he knew. So the word itself even has a long history with humans. So, we're going to talk about that. Yes, there are humans who don't like coffee. There are some humans who don't like coffee. They're actually treated kind of poorly, especially in the mornings around other humans. We'll discuss that. The expression coffee break was first attested in 1952. So that actually was not that long ago that the term coffee break became a thing. It wasn't always a term that humans used. And the term coffee pot dates from 1705. So this little thing here has had a name for quite a while, longer than coffee break. All right. One of the things that is also important when it comes to coffee is the vessel in which the coffee is served. And humans have a lot of fun with the vessels in which they drink their coffee. Some people like to express themselves with their coffee vessels. Usually, no, it's not a ship, although some people would probably like a ship full of coffee. Yeah. No, not that kind of vessel. I mean, it is a vessel. It's, something that holds something. But no, I mean something like this. Look at this. Now, people like to express themselves, like I was saying, with their coffee cups. Now, this is a little mug. You see how it's made? It's usually made out of some sort of ceramic or whatever. It is fragile. Now, when you hold a coffee cup, use the handle. Some people will also take a hand and cup it. They'll just sort of embrace the coffee cup like this, and they hold it close like a newborn baby. Everybody has a practice mug at their desk. Oh, you dropped yours. Oh, I didn't mean clean it up like that. You're going to give yourself indigestion. Just go over there and get another one. Okay, everybody pick up your coffee cup. Now remember, when you're in your human suits, this will be easier because you will have two limbs here and you have to learn to walk on the other two and bend and sit and everything. But everyone, I know you're not in your suits, but try this. Hold the cup. You can hold it in either hand. It doesn't matter. Whatever's more comfortable for you. So you're going to grip it with the hand. Take the handle. Some of the cups have bigger handles just to make your own adjustments. Hold it. Take this hand and just lovingly wrap it around the cup and pretend that you have a nice warm liquid in there and kind of do like this. So this is your first cup of coffee for the day, especially if other humans are looking. This behavior will be quite acceptable. Go. Do the sniff and then the very good, very good. And when you drink it, hold it slowly, turn it up like you're the love of your life. You're giving them a kiss, and you just do like this. You take a sip and then go. It is a very annoying habit. Unfortunately, it's almost universal in the human population to make that little noise. I don't condone it, but I do want you to fit in with the humans. So you might want to practice the grasp, slight shoulder shrug, sniff, sip. Now you don't have to repeat it in that exact order every time, but it is advisable that the first sip of coffee that you have, especially in the mornings, if you find yourself in a situation where you're around other humans, you might want to adopt that little sequence of behaviors, at least for the first sip. After that, just always remember to sip it slowly. Don't chug it. If heat does not affect your internal organs, you still have to sip it slowly. If you take a piping hot cup of coffee and you chug it, you are going to draw attention to yourself. You can't do that. Debbie, just like you remember when we were making fried chicken and you just grabbed a piece right out of the pan and started eating it? So you can't do that because it's incredibly hot. And a human can't do that. So you have to remember that you have to adopt behaviors that are, yes, Splefix? I'm not trying to get onto her. Your pink spots are coming back. Just, you know what? Why don't you just run down the hall to the restroom and separate it? Just, okay. No, take your time. No, don't worry about it. Okay. So humans do, he's got me rattled. I'm sorry. Humans love to express themselves in a number of ways. One of the unique things about humans is how often they will express themselves thinking that they're funny and unique, but really they're just expressing themselves just like every other human. It's a little quirk with people that you just kind of have to accept. Here's one I want to show you. All right, now here's another example of a mug. Okay, and they like to write things on these mugs. Now, how are you guys doing with your written English? Okay, what does that say? Eat my shorts. Will you please stop watching old episodes of The Simpsons? No, this says full of Southern charm. It's for charming Southern people that drink coffee. So here's another thing they'll do, and they, especially if you work in an office, you're going to hear this. If it's a Monday and you're at work, I guarantee you that at least one of your coworkers, while holding their first cup of coffee for the day, will stroll past your office and look in and go, Mondays, am I right? And they will make a face kind of like this. And you have to learn to mirror that behavior. And you look at them and you say something like, I hear ya, or something along those lines. Oh yeah. You're expected to respond in the same way. Now, if you look at them and point and start making a shrieking sound, they're going to know that you're not one of them. So you have to learn to adopt traditional human behaviors. You don't want to call attention to yourselves. So here I am, right? I'm your coworker. I'm coming down the hall with my cup of coffee. Mondays, am I right? And then I want to hear, stop saying that, okay? Nobody says that anymore. Okay? No. What did I just say you should say in response to Mondays? Am I right? That's better. That sounds good. All right. You're getting there. You're getting there. Now I'm going to keep these cups out. Sometimes people also like to use coffee mugs to commemorate things that they enjoy. Things, maybe a TV show they saw or a movie or something like that. Like this one here. This coffee cup features characters from a claymation short. There were several of these made, and it's Wallace and Gromit. And here they are on the train in a very funny scene from one of their movie shorts. That's Wallace, and that's Gromit, and that's the little burglar penguin. No, you're not going to see it. You probably won't see a scene like this in real life. You know, Earthlings don't typically do stuff like this. Although, you know, humans can surprise you. You can think that you've seen it all, and then you go to Walmart one night at 11 o'clock, and you can always, humans can always top themselves somehow or other. So, I mean, I'm not saying it's outside the realm of possibility, but it's highly unlikely. So again, you'll notice that most of these cups that we've looked at so far have large handles here on just one handle on one side. And the inside is usually the same color as the outside. These cups happen to be primarily white. So the interior is white as well. Like that one too. This one is a little bit bigger than this one. Some of them are bigger. And that's okay. It's fine. And sometimes they will make coffee cups that have interesting patterns and pleasing colors. Like this one. Now see, this one has a more dainty handle. It's very thin. You can't eat the ones with flowers on them. No, they're not real flowers. Now when you're ready for your final exam, you're going to have to be able to get through it without eating flowers. Okay, humans don't typically do that. When we walk through a flower garden or an area with lots of, beautiful plants, you don't typically reach down and grab them and stuff them in your mouth. Okay, that's one way to surely get yourself recognized as not quite normal. Okay, so you're going to have to stop thinking about it. Maybe I need to give you this cup to carry around as practice. So you wouldn't want to eat them because they're kind of hard. But this is just another example of a cup. Again, it's the same basic design. It's a little shorter. It's not quite as big. It's about as big around, but it's a little bit smaller. There are even different kinds of coffee cups for different kinds of coffee drinks. Like this one. This is a little espresso cup. Or if you just want a little taste of coffee, you could just have this little tiny thing here. Now here is another example of the human's sense of humor. You will see on the cup that it says starter fluid. Can anyone guess why it says that? No, it doesn't literally contain starter fluid. That, you can't give humans starter fluid. No, I'm pretty sure that's poisonous for humans to... It makes your hair thick and shiny. Don't drink it around people, though. I mean, that might be one of those things that you can go buy and, enjoy in the comfort of your own home when there's no one there. But don't drink starter fluid out in public. No. They call it that because, it goes along with the human's idea that coffee is what runs their day. Coffee fuels their whole life. Coffee is life to so many people. They couldn't imagine life without it. And they really believe they would be much less productive without coffee. So if you do talk about coffee, to be on the safe side, I would just say stuff like, oh, I gotta have my coffee. Don't even talk to me before I've had my coffee in the morning. You may want to practice those things. Is there life after coffee? Or, they have all these silly sayings. They mainly came from cartoon strips like Garfield, or Kathy. They have these sayings that they look like they were just born to be put on a sweatshirt. Yeah. And here's another one that might be familiar to some of you. No, it doesn't say beam me up. It says bean me up. But it kind of goes, it's sort of that outer space theme, talking about Star Trek. They did not steal Star Trek from your uncle, okay? No one in this sector even knew your uncle back when that show came out. I'm not having this argument again. Okay? Don't roll all those eyes at me. But it's another example of the silly human humor, bean me up in the little espresso cup. I might save that for you, Debbie, if you want to try some of this coffee here just to have a taste to see. Well, it does have caffeine. It actually has a lot of caffeine. It's pretty potent. I thought I would like you to try something that really had some kick to it. All right. And these humans even like to have coffee that's portable. Now, humans are always on the go. They keep themselves very busy. That doesn't mean they're always productive, but humans are very good at staying busy. And they like to have coffee that they can take with them so that they don't have to stay near their beloved coffee pot, even though, there's nothing wrong if you want to make a gesture of a loving gesture towards your coffee pot and just say, oh, I couldn't live without it. It's my best friend. I love it more than my spouse. Other humans will smile and appreciate your humor and believe that you are funny if you say things like that. But they like their coffee portable. So they have come up with these big mugs. Now, some of them have handles, some of them don't. Now, this one here is also made of porcelain or ceramic or whatever it is. And you see it has a lid on the top. Now, you can remove that. See, it has a rubber seal around it to help prevent leaks, although they all seem to leak. And it has a top. It also has a little piece here that slides, and you can open it and then close it up so the coffee doesn't spill out, or it's not as likely to. And then see, you just open it up, and when it's open, you can turn it up. And of course, again, slowly. You don't want to chug it. Just slowly drink it. And just act like you're really savoring it. Just, best thing you ever tasted. You always kind of have to do your shoulders like that. Just, You have to tense up the upper half of your body. I know it's going to be hard with those spines. They're working on your suits. Somehow we're going to find a way to compress them and they're not going to be as noticeable. But I'm afraid you're always going to have a little bit of a hunch in your back. Yeah, I don't know what we can really do about that. Well, I mean, you almost have a back like a stegosaurus. I don't mean, no offense, but we're doing the best we can. They're going to come up with something. Just kind of show me how you can shrug your shoulders. Oh, you kind of look like an apple when you do that. This is an example of a very tired play on words. This is a meme from 8 years ago or 9. It says mug life. Remember we talked about memes? And sometimes you're going to hear things or see things on the internet that don't make any sense, and then you have to go look it up. Mug life, sort of a play on that. And again, this is just another example of how important this container of coffee is, how important coffee is to humans. Why would they mass produce something like this otherwise? You know what I mean? So you see it's in gold, so that means it's really important. See how shiny that is? Humans only put very important words in shiny gold. So the person who would buy this, of course, would highly value their coffee. And again, it's their whole life. And there's another interesting thing about people and coffee. And something that coffee will tell you about people if you just look at some of their containers. People are always finding, they're very good at staying constantly busy yet accomplishing little, but at the same time always complaining that they don't have enough free time. And this is something that you might want to incorporate into your discussions with humans about how it would be nice to have more idle time, even though you already have quite a bit, and the idle time that you do have, you spend it being busy doing pointless things. And here's another example. Now look at this big coffee cup. And it says, I really need a day between Saturday and Sunday. See, again, Saturday and Sunday for a lot of humans is their downtime. And even that they believe is not enough because they spend so much of it being pointlessly busy. And you know that it's accurate because inside the cup it even says #truth. So you know they're not kidding. Now, yeah, this handle is shaped a little differently. You're right. It has a little notch here, and then it comes down further. It almost looks like an ear to me. It's like almost shaped like a little ear. But I think it's just kind of ergonomic, I guess, where you put your hands through here, you put your fingers through here, and then your thumb is just going to kind of rest right there, and see, it makes it easier to kind of grip it that way. This one's kind of different though, because the inside is blue while the outside is white. So yeah, anytime you are having lighthearted banter with humans, and granted we haven't practiced our banter very much, you need to learn to quit spitting fire in the middle of banter, because that really dampens the mood for everybody. You know, it's kind of hard to recover from that and segue back into banter. I mean, after you've set somebody's hair on fire, they're really not interested in just chit-chatting anymore. That's why that guy ran away from you. Are you just now figuring that out? Bless your heart. No, it's fine. Oh, you're back. Okay, have a seat. Have a seat. We're just discussing banter. I know, it's your favorite topic. We're talking about how humans always want more free time. They always complain that they don't have enough free time. You notice that? I know you've taken your suit and you've worn your suit on the subway a few times and just listened to people. That's smart. Yeah, because when you see somebody who looks vaguely weird on the subway, not that you do, I mean, you actually look pretty nice in your suit. If you see a person who looks just vaguely strange on the subway, you don't normally think twice about it. Smart move on your part. So they're always looking for free time. And here's another example. Now this is another mug. This one is actually made of plastic. This is the first one we've seen like this. See, again, there's no handle. And it says, this one takes it even further. I need a 6-month vacation twice a year. Now, can anyone tell me why this is funny? Because humans are lazy? Well, that's kind of, the funny thing about it is, if you had a 6-month vacation twice a year, that would be 12 months. And 12 months makes up a what? Not a growth cycle for your species. No, a year. It makes up a year. Yeah, so they need a whole year off every year. So what they're saying is they literally need like all the days off. Ha 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 ha. Because they're so overworked and they're so stressed, and oh my goodness, yeah, they're frazzled. That's right, they're frazzled all the time. And sometimes when people have coffee, they will use it as emphasis. If they're holding their cup, they will point it at you like a dagger. Just, you know, it's not a threat, but it's a point. They're making a point, and they'll stab it in the air. It's a lot to learn. Don't cry. Don't. It eats away at the floor when you do. No, it's okay. Humans are overwhelming. I've lived here most of my life, and I can tell you that humans are overwhelming. They really are. So we've learned that they like lots of time off. They all feel overworked, and that they need a long break, like I guess a permanent break. And they also like to congratulate themselves for things, and they can even use their mugs for that. They love to express their silly humor, like this mug here. It says, "Made it to work today." Yeah. Again, now this one looks more like the regular coffee cup. It's kind of angled a little bit. And it has this little silly sign on it like they're congratulating themselves for making it to work. Like it is a monumental thing. But again, it's just humor. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Um, but again, it goes back to the Garfield and the Kathy comic strips. And we go on and on about Mondays and things like that. But again, this one has a lid that you can remove, and it has this little rubber seal around it. That helps to keep the coffee in. Like if, for example, you had it in your car and it got tipped over or something, it got knocked over, it might help keep at least some of the coffee from spilling out. That's why that's there. And again, you have this top that you can close to help keep your coffee hot and help keep it inside the mug. And then you open it up to take your slow sip of coffee. Like that. Now, who here knows what they put in coffee? Brick dust? No. Although I'm surprised somebody hasn't tried that yet. Salmon fillets? No, I don't think so. No. They put, a lot of people like to put sugar in their coffee, just plain sugar or a sweetener, like a sugar substitute of some sort. Milk or cream. It's a common thing. Sometimes they'll put other things in there. They might put chocolate in there, or sometimes they'll add a bit of alcohol to their coffee. They add all different kinds of things. That's not it. This is it. Like here's an example here. These are little individual little packets of creamer. Now this is from Coffee Mate. Now you might want to learn this logo, this Coffee Mate logo, because you're probably going to see it a lot in the United States. And it can come in a container like that, or it can come in a little tiny container. These are little containers that look like this. And you peel the foil off the top and you just pour it into your coffee and it will swirl, and it kind of turns the color, it makes the color of the coffee a little bit lighter. And this one is a hazelnut flavor. So if you don't like coffee just plain, and I'm going to give you some plain to try, you might want to try adding sugar or a creamer of some sort, or just plain milk. You can try different varieties, different mixtures of things to see if you like it better. Now here's an example of an iced coffee. Now it's not literally iced at the moment, because you see it's in a glass bottle, and you can buy this in stores. And there are different brands for different types. And you see it's sealed up here. Now this is from Folgers. It's just $18.50, and it's mocha iced coffee. And this is a 13.7 ounce bottle. And you would remove the seal, pop it open, and you would want to refrigerate it first to make it nice and cold. You could pour it over ice if you want to. And it kind of settles on the bottom, so you have to kind of shake it to mix it up a little bit. Now it looks like chocolate milk, but it's not going to taste like chocolate milk. It's going to taste like coffee with a bunch of something in it. But you might want to try something like this if regular coffee is not really your thing. But it's a beautiful bottle. Now if you were walking down the street with this, no one would think you looked weird. If you prefer chocolate milk, you could just take this bottle and fill it with chocolate milk. You don't see adults drinking chocolate milk as much, which I don't really understand, because chocolate milk is wonderful. If you want to get really serious about it, you can get something like this. Now look at this. This is a cold brew iced coffee concentrate, and it includes both cold brew and additional coffee solids. So you want to blend this with milk or water, and then you can sweeten it to your taste. And on the back, they will show you how you mix it. So this is something that you can make at home. And then when you're headed off to the office, you can put it in a cup like this with the top on it. But since it's not hot, you could heat it if you wanted to, but since it's not hot, it doesn't necessarily have to go in something like this. But this would be a convenient little thing to carry with its lid and its nice handle. And the good thing about it, it's small down here at the bottom, so it will fit in the cup holder of most vehicles. So that, now I know you haven't learned to drive yet, but that's okay. You're going to learn. We're going to have to tie the tentacles back though, because no, you have to learn to drive with only 2 tentacles and only at night because you're not going to have your suit on. Okay. So I wanted to show you this just so you would know there are a lot of different options when it comes to coffee. You don't have to just have it one way. All right, now here's another thing that you can learn about humans. Look at this coffee cup. Sometimes they like to use items from Earth. They will make things in the likeness of items found here on Earth into a coffee cup like this. Can anyone tell me what this is supposed to be? A coffee cup? You are so funny. It's what, Debbie? Your Aunt Iris. It doesn't have enough eyes to be Iris. Honey, I know her. She was in my first class. No, it's a cactus. That's a plant. No, not your Uncle Practice. A cactus. Cactus. It's a plant on Earth. And some types of cacti kind of look like they might have an appearance similar to this cup. Yeah. So that's just another silly little thing that they do. They like to be quirky and silly. So to fit in, you might get a little coffee cup, and then of course you could say it's your favorite coffee cup, because most humans have one cup that they will say is their favorite cup. And you could have one that looks like a little poodle's head or Chewbacca, or I thought you might like Chewbacca. Yeah, he kind of reminds me of your pet too. Yeah, kind of got the same hair. So you guys were supposed to bring in some things that are not coffee or coffee related. Yeah, I'm going to pour you guys some coffee. I want you to bring those things up. Now, Debbie, I'm only going to give you a little taste, okay? Because I'm a little concerned about what this is going to do for you. Now, I'm going to put that right there for you. All right, Thack, you want some? Okay. How much? Okay. Give you a little taste there. Zerg, you want some? Okay. And while you're drinking it, I want you to practice. Remember the steps that we went through, the human behavior of the first sip of coffee for the day? I want you to practice that. All right, Taxarac, I'm going to give you the big one, okay? I'm not going to put a lot in it. Splefix, I'm going to give you the Woke Mom cup. Okay. Now here. Okay. Okay. Now, everybody take your cups. You brought your things up here? Okay, excellent. All right, everybody take your cup. Take a cup. So you hold it. Take one hand here, shoulders. Sniff. No, you have to sniff with your, well, if you don't have a nose, just make a sniffing sound. It's good, it's good, it's good. And you hold it like it's your best friend, okay? Do like this. Even if you're not cold, you have to kind of act for a second or two like you're freezing to death. And then you take a nice slow sip. Yes, it's an odious habit, but most humans do it. And I hate to perpetuate it, but I want you to fit in, so you have to do that. All right, what have we got? All right, back, let me see. Yeah, this is definitely not coffee, and I would not advise using this as a coffee cup. First of all, it's floppy and your coffee would pour out. I mean, can you imagine if you took this and filled it with coffee? What would happen? I don't think it would start smoking. It would probably fall over and the coffee would go everywhere. Plus, if you're walking around drinking out of a boot, they're probably going to call somebody and you're going to get taken away. So this is not coffee. I would not recommend trying to put this in a coffee maker, and I definitely would not drink out of it. Very good, Zach. Debbie, what you got? Let's see. Oh, yeah. This is not coffee either. This is so much better than the pictures. Well, I had to quit bringing pictures because you kept eating them. Package of hot dog buns. Yeah. You like hot dog buns? You do what with them? Oh, honey, no, they're not for that. No. You need to use soap and a washcloth. Don't take these in the shower anymore. That explains the clogs that we kept having in the drain. Don't take them in the shower. Okay, please. Thank you. Just soap. Soap is good, and a washcloth. Okay, that explains so much. I'm so glad we did this today. Okay, these are hot dog buns. You see here, it's an 8-pack of little buns, little made of bread for your hot dogs. Now, I suppose if you really wanted to, you could take the hot dogs out of this bag and pour coffee into the bag. I mean, no one is, it's not illegal or anything. But the hot liquid would probably really be bad for the plastic, and it would be difficult to drink. I mean, you couldn't hold it because it would be too hot to turn it up and drink it. And again, it's all about looking normal and fitting in with the humans, right? You're not going to see humans walking around drinking out of a bag that had hot dogs in it. And you wouldn't want to make coffee with hot dog buns either. I don't think you're going to get the flavor that you're looking for. Very good example. Thank you. Taxarac, what have you got? You want more coffee? You know what? Maybe we better not. I want to wait and see what effect, if any, this sample has on you guys. Because we do need to start testing foods and different drinks on you to see the effects that they have. And see, we need to make notes of all that as we go to give you some guidelines when you finally integrate into the human population. So maybe just leave it there. This is an excellent example of something that is not coffee. This is perfect. I like that you picked this because this is an excellent example. This could be confusing. If you look at this bottom part, it's similar in size to this cup, right? And there are red coffee cups out there. There may even be a coffee cup that looks like Santa's bag. Remember we talked about Santa? It's going to look like Santa's bag. But this is not a coffee cup. If you poured coffee in here, this poor little tree would die. This tree would not survive. And then think how terrible you would feel. Oh, this is just a decoration hanging from it. This is my Grinch tree from Christmas. It's still alive. I've been watering it. No, with water. Not coffee. No, don't water plants with coffee. I don't even know what that would do. It might make it really nervous. So yeah, this is not a coffee. It's not a coffee cup. And if you tried to stuff this inside the coffee maker, it wouldn't even fit anyway. So, I don't see it going through the filter. It's a little too big for that. Good deal. All right, Splefix, what have you got? Where did you get that? Holy moly. It's an old cell phone. Yeah. Look at that. Yeah, this is most definitely not coffee. I don't even know where you would pour it. I mean, where would it even go? This is beautiful. Yeah. You abducted Zach Morris? That makes sense. Yeah. So this, no, you don't really see people using these anymore, but they used to really be a status symbol. Yeah, believe it or not, I know it's very primitive, but it used to be a really big deal here. So this is certainly not a coffee, it's not a coffee cup, and it's not going to fit in the coffee pot because with its antenna, it's even bigger than the coffee maker. And look, it doesn't even fit in the coffee pot. Clearly has nothing to do with coffee. Well, I have an example or two for you guys as well. One thing I wanted to show you is this. Now, one thing you will notice about the coffee vessels is that they're kind of thick, and they're usually made of porcelain or ceramic or something. Now, if you have a little glass like this, you would not put coffee in something like this. For one thing, it's not insulated and it's not going to stay warm very long, and it's going to burn your fingers. If you pour this full of really hot liquid, it's going to burn like crazy if you try to hold it. So don't ever pour coffee in a regular glass. Okay, everyone would freak out instantly because it could even cause the glass to shatter depending on how thin it is. Some glass just can't handle temperature extremes like that, so don't ever do it. Also, this is not coffee. Okay, you're not going to pour any coffee in here. If you poured coffee over this little mandarin orange, it would just spill all over your fingers and get all over the floor, all over your clothes. It would be a disaster, wouldn't it? Absolute disaster. And you can't make coffee with it. Now, it would probably fit in here. You could probably drop it down in there. But the coffee's going to taste terrible. It's going to taste like boiled orange peel, and nobody likes that. This is not coffee either. Now, the handle has black on it, and coffee can look kind of black depending on how rich it is or how strong it is. But this is definitely not coffee. Look at this. You can strike things with this. You could break a coffee cup with it if you wanted to. But you're never, ever going to be able to hold any coffee in it. And you certainly cannot brew coffee with this. You can't drop it in there and make a delicious cup. So this is out. If you're looking for coffee, I'm afraid this is not going to be one of your options. And finally, I have this. Can anybody tell me what this is? Plastic jelly? No, it is a jelly jar. Like if you made homemade jelly or jam, you would maybe put it in a jar like this. These are buttons. And again, I wanted to show you the container. Now this may look a lot like, size-wise and shape-wise, it's kind of similar to a coffee mug, perhaps. But you're not going to put coffee in here because, again, it would burn your fingers. And this glass might be all right. It's made for canning, so it's probably okay. But you would look really weird walking around with a canning jar full of coffee. You can use them to store your buttons in, and you can say your grandma gave you this, because grandmas love to store things in things that weren't originally meant for that purpose. So you could say your grandma gave it to you, or something, but don't use it for your coffee. Just go out and buy some cups or mugs to put your coffee in. And one last thing, if you run across someone who doesn't like coffee, what do you think you would do? Kill them and eat them? No. How many times do I have to say that's never the answer to any of my questions? You jump right to kill them and eat them. You don't do that. No. We're all going to assume that you guys like coffee. Did you like it? You didn't. You did not like it. The rest of y'all, did you like it? Okay. All right. Say you run across someone who doesn't like coffee. What's the required response. What are you expected to say? That's okay? No, no, no. No. With most humans, it's never okay for someone to not like coffee. We don't accept humans who don't like coffee. No. You have to say this. Oh, you've just never had any good coffee. And then you proceed to tell them that either they've never had your coffee or they've never had coffee made in a certain way or at a certain location. You you have to practice that scoff. You are literally telling them that they don't know what they like. You know better what they like than they do. And that's actually acceptable when talking about coffee because humans are that serious about it. You've just never had any good coffee. So let's hear you say it. So I'm looking at you guys and I'm saying, you know what? I don't really like coffee. So let's hear it. Okay, sounded a little angry. You don't want to sound angry. The scoff kind of blends into a smirk when you start to speak. You've just never had any good coffee. Lower the eyebrows. Yeah, you've just never had any good coffee. Yeah, there you go. And there's really nothing else that needs to be said after that. They will mutter a few things under their breath, but that will pretty much end that little exchange because there's really nowhere to go from there. Yeah, it's good knowing that we can go out in the world and educate people about what they do and don't like. So I think that's part of our purpose here, because some people just don't know any better. Okay? All right. Well, that is all I have for today. Are we ready for your party? We're going to go out to the park. I'm going to have some treats. We're going to try a new thing today. It's called pizza. Have you guys heard of that? We're going to try pizza. No, that's not one of the things at the park. No, it's not like a slide or a merry-go-round. It's food. We're going to eat some pizza, and then we're going to have some soda, which you guys haven't had yet either. So it's going to be really exciting. Happy 3000th birthday. I'm very glad that I could be here to enjoy it with you. So thank you all very much for coming to class today. I hope it was informative, and we will get ready and take off to the park.